The Magna Carta, translation by Professor Nicholas Vincent. Edward, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, and Duke of Aquitaine, sends greetings to all whom the present letters come. We have inspected the great charter of Lord Henry, late King of England, our father, concerning the liberties of England in these words. Henry, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, Duke of Normandy and Aquitaine, and Count of Anjou, sends greetings to his archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, earls, barons, sheriffs, reeves, ministers, and all his bailiffs and faithful men, inspecting the present charter. Know that we, at the promoting of God and for the health of our soul and the souls of our ancestors and successors, for the glory of the Holy Church and the improvement of our realm, freely and out of good will, have given and granted to the archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, earls, barons, and all of our realm, these liberties written below, to hold in our realm of England in perpetuity. 1. In the first place, we grant to God, and confirm by this present charter, for ourselves and our heirs in perpetuity, that the English Church is to be free and have all its rights fully and all its liberties entirely. We furthermore grant and give to all the free men of our realm, of ourselves and our heirs in perpetuity, the liberties written below, to have and to hold them and their heirs from us and our heirs in perpetuity. 2. If any of our earls or barons or anyone else holding from us in chief by military service should die, and should his heir be full of age and owe relief, the heir should have his inheritance for the ancient relief, namely the heir of or heirs of Earl for the whole country, £100, the heirs to or heirs of a baron for whole barony, 100 marks, or the heirs or heirs of a knight for the whole knight's fee, 100 shillings at most, and if he owes less, he will give less, according to the ancient custom of knights' fees. If, however, the heir of such a person is under age, and his law is not to have custody of him and his land until he has taken homage from the heir, and after such an heir has been in custody, when he comes of age, namely at 21 years old, he is to have his inheritance without relief and without fine, saying that whilst under age he is made a knight, and his land will be nonetheless remain in the custody of his lords until aforesaid term. 4. The keeper of the land, such as the heir who is under age, is only to take reasonable receipts from the heir's land and reasonable customs and reasonable services, and this without destruction or waste of men or things. And if we assign custody or any such land to a sheriff or to anyone else who should answer to us for the issues, as such a person should commit destruction or waste, he will take recompense from him, and the land will be assigned to lawworthy and discreet men of that fee of that take recompense from him a fee who will answer to us or to the person to whom we assign the land for the land's issues. And if we give or sell anyone custody of any such land, and that person commits destruction or waste, he will lose custody and the land will be assigned to law-worthy and discreet men of that fee, who similarly will answer to us as is aforesaid. 5. The keeper, for as long as he has the custody of the land in such as an heir, is to maintain the houses, parks, fish ponds, mills, and other things pertaining to the land from the issues of the same land. He will restore to the heir when it comes to full age, and all his land stock will, with ploughs and all the other things, at least the same condition as when he received it. All these things are to be observed in the custody of the archbishoprics and the bishoprics, abbeys, priories, churches, and vacant offices which pertain to us, save that such custodies ought not to be sold. 6. Heirs are to be married without disparagement. 7. A widow after her death of her husband is immediately and without any difficulty to have her marriage portion in her inheritance, nor is she to pay anything to her dower or her marriage portion for any of her inheritance which her husband has held on the day of her husband's death, and she shall remain in the chief dwelling place of her husband for 40 days after her husband's death, within which time the dower will be assigned to her, and it will already mean assigning unless the house is a castle. If it is a castle which she leaves, then a suitable house will be immediately provided for her, in which she may properly dwell until the dower is assigned to her for accordance with the aforesaid. And in the meantime she is to have her reasonable necessities from the common property. As a dower she will be assigned the third part of all the lands of her husband, which were his during his lifetime, save when she was dowered, and less than at church door. No widow should be distrained to marry for so long as she wishes to live without a husband, provided that she gives surety that she will not marry without our consent, and if she holds of us, or with the assent of her lord if she holds with another. 8. Neither we nor our bailiffs will seize any land or rent for any debt as long as the existing chattels of the debtors suffice for the payment of the debt, and as long as the debtor is really ready to pay the debt, nor will the debtor's guarantees be strained for as long as the principal debtor is able to pay the debt. So, and should the principal debtor default on his payment of the debt, not having the means to repay it, or should refuse to pay it despite being able to do so, the guarantors will answer the debt and say they wish they were to have the lands and rents and debtor until they are paid in the debt that previously they paid on behalf of the debtor. unless the principal debtor can show that he is quit in respect to these guarantors. The City of London is to have all ancient liberties and customs. Moreover, we wish... Number 9. The City of London is to have all its ancient liberties and customs. Moreover, we wish to grant that all other cities and boroughs and villas in the Baron and the barons in the clique ports and all the ports have been all their liberties and free customs. No one is to be distrained to do more service for a night's fee or any other free tenement that is due from it. 11. Common pleas are not to follow, but our court are to be held in a certain fixed place. Recognizances of novel dissertion and more assessor were taken save their particular countries and follow way. We all should be outside the realm of our chief judicar. We will send our justices 1 year to each county, so that together with the knights of the counties we will make the aforesaid assizes of the counties and those assizes which cannot be completed in the visitation of the county by our aforesaid judges assigned to take the said assizes to be completed elsewhere by the justices in their visitation, and those who cannot be completed by them on account of difficulty of various articles of law are to be referred to by our justice on the bench and completed there. A free man is not to be immersed for small offence, save in accordance with a manner of offence, and for a major offence according to its magnitude, saving his sufficiency, and a merchant likewise, saving his merchandise, and a villain other than the one of our town being immersed in the same way, saving his necessity, should fall into our mercy. None of the aforesaid accoutrements is to be imposed save by the oath of honest and law-worthy men of the neighbourhood. Earls and barons are not to be immersed by their peers and only in accordance with the manner of their offence. 15. No town or free man is to be distrained to make bridges or bank works, save for those that ought to do so of old and by right. No bank works or any sort are to be kept up save those that were in defence in the time of Henry II, our grandfather, in the same place and on the same terms was customary in his time. 17. No sheriff, constable, coroner, or any other of our bailiffs is to hold pleas of our crown. 18. If anyone holding a lay fee from us should die, our sheriff or bailiff shows our letters patent containing our summons for the debt of that dead man owed us. Our sheriff or bailiff is permitted to attach and enroll all the goods and chattels of the dead man found in lay fee to the value, he said, to the value of the said debt by view of law-worthy men, so that nothing is to be removed thence until the debt remains is paid to us, and the remainder is released to the executors to discharge the will of the dead man, and for nothing he owned to us from such a person. All the chattels are to be passed to the use of the dead man, saying to the dead man's wife and children, saving to the dead man's wife and children their reasonable portion. No constable or his bailiff is to take corn or chattels from anyone who not themselves a ville where Cape of Castle is built, unless the constable or his bailiff immediately offers money in payment of obtains respite from the wish of the seller. If the person whose corn or chattels is taken is such a ville, then the constable or the bailiff is to pay the purchase price within 40 days. No constable is to, number 20, no constable is to distrain any knight to give money for castle guard, if that knight is willing to do such guard in person or by proxy. If any other man should the knight be prevented from doing so by just cause. And if we take a second such, if we take or send such a knight into the army, he will quit of castle guard in accordance with the length of time we have him in the army for the fee which he has done for the service of the army. 21. No sheriff or bailiff of ours or anyone else shall take anyone's horses or carts to make carriage unless he renders payment customarily due, named for 2 horse 10 cart 10 pence per day, and 3 horse cart 14 pence per day. No demesne cart belonging to any churchman or knight or any other lady is to be taken by our bailiffs, nor will we or our bailiffs or anyone else take anyone else's timber for a castle or any other of our business, save by the will of he to whom the timber belongs. 22. We shall not hold the lands of those convicted of felony, save for a year and a day, whether such land is to be restored to the laws for fees. All fish wherein on the Thames and the Medway and throughout England are to be entirely dismantled, save on the sea coast. The writ called precipice is not to be issued to anyone in respect to tenement in such a way that a free man might lose his court. There might be a single measure for wine throughout our realm, and a single measure for ale, and a single measure for coin, that is the London quarter, and a single breadth of dyed cloth, russets and haberjacks, but that is to say 2 yards within the wine list, and it shall be the same for weights and for measures. Henceforth there is nothing to be written for the inquest of the person seeking an inquest of the life member, but such a writ is to be given freely and not denied. If any person holds from us at fee farm or scourge or bubbage, I hold land and hold land from other by night service. We are not by virtue of such fee farm, scourge or burbage to have custody of the heir of that land, which pertains to another's fee, nor we have custody of such a fee farm or scourge or burbage unless this fee farm owes night service. We are not to have the custody of an heir or any land which is held from another by night service on the pretext of some small sergenty held from us by service of rendering knives or arrows or such like things. 28. No bailiff is henceforth to put any man on his open law or with open sympathy by virtue of his spoken word, without reliable witnesses being produced for the same. No free man is to be taken or imprisoned or deceased of his free disseized of his free tenement or his liberties or free customers, or outlawed or exiled, or in any way ruined, nor will we go against such a man or send him against him save lawful judgment and his peers of the law of the land. To no one will we sell or deny the delay right of justice. All merchants, unless they have been previously publicly forbidden, are to have safe and secure conduct in leaving and coming into England and staying and going through England, both by land and by water, and to sell without any evil extractions according to the ancient and right customs, saving in times of war, and they should be from land at war. And if they should be from a land at war against us, and be found in our land at the beginning of the war, they are to be attached without damage to their bodies or goods until it is established by us that our chief judicature in what way the merchants of our land are treated, whom at such a time are found in the land at a time of war with us, and if our merchants are safe there, the merchants are to be safe in our land. 31. If anyone dies holding any of the enchant, such as the honour of Wallingford, Boulogne, Nottingham, Lancaster, or other enchants which are in our hands, and which are baronies, and their head is not to give any other relief, to render any other service other to us than would not been rendered to the barony if the barony were still held by a baron, and he shall not hold such things in the same way as the baron held them, nor on any account such as the barony or enchant we are we to have the escheat or custody of any men of any of our men, unless the man who held the barony or the escheat held anywhere from us in chief. 32. No free man is henceforth to give or sell any more of his land to anyone, unless the residual of his land is sufficient to render due service to the Lord, and the fee as pertains to that fee. 33. All patrons of abbeys, such as the charters of the kings of England over the Avod and the ancient tenure and possession, are to have custody of such abbeys when they fall vacant, such as they ought to have when it is declared above. No one is taken or imprisoned on the appeal of a woman from the death of anyone save the death of that woman's husband. No county court is to be held save from a month to month, where the term greater used can be held. So it will be in future, nor will any sheriff of his bailiff take to his torn through the 100 saved for twice a year, and only to the place that is due and customary, namely once after Easter, again after Michaelmas, and in the view of the Frank pledge is to be taken at Michaelmas term without exception, in such a way that every man is to have liberties which he had or occurs to have in the time of Henry II, my grandfather, or which he has acquired since. The view of Frank pledge is to be taken that our peace is held so that the tithing is to be held entire as it used to be, so that the sheriff does not speak exceptions but remains content with that which the sheriff used to have in taking the view of the King Henry, our grandfather. 36. Nor is it permitted for anyone to give his land to a religious house, such as a way that he receives it back from such a house to hold, nor is it permitted that any religious house to accept the land of anyone in such a way that the land is restored to the person from whom it was received from. If anyone henceforth gives his land in such a way to a religious house and is convicted of the same, the gift is entirely quashed, and such land is revert to the Lord for that fee. Scutage, furthermore, to be taken, is used in the time of King Henry, our grandfather, and all liberties and free customs shall be preserved to archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, templars, hospitallers, earls, barons, and others, both ecclesiastical and secular persons, just as they formerly had. All these aforesaid customs and liberties which have been granted in our realm in so far as pertains to us, are to be observed by all in our realm, by clergy, laity, and in so far pertains to them in respect to their own men. For this gift and the grant of those liberties and for others contained in our charter over the liberties in the forest and the archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, earls, barons, knights, freeholders, and all in our realm who have given us 15th part of their movable goods. Moreover, we grant them for us and their heirs, and neither of us will nor our heirs will seek anything by which these liberties contained in this charter may be infringed or damaged, and anything obtained from anyone against this it will count for nothing and will be held for nothing, with the witnesses as said between the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Chancery of John Stowe.